Hello everyone, this is Dr. Manish Roshan Thakur from Psych Reads. This is an introductory video for the Master Practical Skill course that we have launched. It's a course that has been specifically designed for the exam going residents. However, for the sake of benefit of all the residents, we have divided this course under three subsections. The first part is the boot camp, which is specifically designed for the first years. The second part is the masterclass, which has been specifically designed for the second years. And the last part, that is the exam edition, which has been designed and developed for the exam going residents, that is the final years. Looking into the various subsections of these courses and the details. So, firstly, we'll be looking at what are the topics that we are going to cover in the boot camp part. So it includes history taking skills. So history taking, long course, long case, short case. We'll be covering mental status examination, how to do it, various definitions in it, neurocognitive examination, what are the parts, how to do it correctly from Strub and Black, what are the definitions of the various headings which has been included in neurocognitive function. We'll be looking at how to write the diagnostic formulation, how to write the management formulation. Also, we will be covering neurological examination. Apart from the neurological examination, we'll be looking up at 4 to 5 neurological cases which can be asked as a short case during your neurological examination and your final viva. So we'll be looking up at stroke, approach to stroke, management of stroke. We'll be looking at myasthenia gravis. We'll be looking at peripheral neuropathy. We'll be also looking at Parkinsonism and dementia as a whole. Apart from that, we'll be carrying out examination for catatonia, as this has also been frequently asked in examination viva. Also, we'll be covering treatment guidelines for 6 different psychiatric illness disorder. So these includes for schizophrenia, we'll be covering at the treatment guidelines both from NICE and from CPG. We'll be looking at mood disorder, that is depression, and for BPAD, we'll be also covering OCD. We'll be looking at anxiety disorder, and lastly, we'll be looking at the treatment protocol for addiction. So this covers a total of 6. Apart from this, what we can do is like we'll cover a bit regarding how to approach the cases. Also, we'll be looking up at how to write a long case in a course of 45 minutes and also how to present it. What are the that you have to focus while taking the case, how it is different from your regular OPD and your inpatient history taking. We'll also be focusing on that. Also, how to save time in the stipulated 45 minutes that has been provided to you. So, if someone enrolls only for the boot camp subsection, these things will be covered. Now, if someone enrolls for the master class part, so apart from what has been covered in the boot camp, in addition, they'll be getting the table viva special topics. These includes drugs, the essential points of the drug. Always remember, this is a practice for the practical exams. So we are focusing the practical exams. Here we don't need in-depth knowledge. Rather, we should be aware about various points, specific points, and what can be asked in the examination. So we'll be covering all classes of drugs in psychiatry, their specific points, essential points. Similarly, for the psychological test, we'll be covering all psychological tests, be it test of intelligence, be it test of personality, be it various kind of tests used for assessing organicity. We'll be looking at important points of them. Also, the spotter part, that is the EEG, some basics will be provided before we jump up into looking at specific EEG. Similarly, for MRI and CT, we'll be understanding how to read classical images and also to detect some of the important spotters. So, if someone enrolls for the masterclass, apart from the topic which I have mentioned for the boot camp, they'll be getting these table viva special topics too. Now, the final part, that is the exam edition. So whatever has been mentioned for the boot camp and the master class, those topics along with grand viva special topics, which includes forensic psychiatry part, With that is, we'll be covering specific portions which has been asked, and there are high chances that it will be asked again in your Viva. Uh, we'll be looking at MHCA, POXO, NDPS, RPWD, National Trust Act, CODPA, MTP, all specific portions of it. We'll be looking at various kinds of changes that they have introduced in the past 1 or 2 year. All those changes will be mentioned over here. Will be apart from that, we'll be looking at eminent personalities and contribution. There are around 10 to 15 eminent personalities in psychiatry that you can't miss or can't uh, that is not expected from you that you don't know them. You can't do that. You have to know them and their contributions in developing psychiatry in India. After that, we'll be looking at recent advances and new drugs, all those kinds of updates that you are looking here and there, asking in groups also that what are the kind of updates which are there as far as the drug approval is concerned, whether the treatment protocol has changed. All that will be compiled and covered under this section. After that, we'll be looking up at various important one-liners. Around 50 of them are there. We'll be going through that. These are all special one-liners which are expected to be asked. Then we'll be looking at neuromodulation part. Why I have included neuromodulation, or rather when we were planning course, we have included this because neuromodulation, at times machines are not available in the Viva. What they do, they take out a print of the picture. That ECT machine picture will be there, RTMS machine picture will be there, or TDCS, for example, can be kept. And then accordingly, they'll be asking you a question. So I don't want you to miss on that. And I want you to know some part of these three modalities of treatment. Okay. Now, community psychiatry itself is a very big topic, but here we'll be looking at specific portion of the surveys that has been conducted in India, the National Mental Health Survey, important data from them, the addiction survey that was done by AIMS, that is the magnitude of substance use in India. We'll be looking at specifics and all the data that is relevant. We'll be looking at. We'll also be looking at the CAT survey and the GAYS, GYTS, that is the Global Youth Tobacco Survey. After covering this, we'll be looking at National Mental Health Program, how it was formulated, what were the important steps, whether it was like at what time it came into the picture, at what time the act came, at what time the program came, at what time the National Mental Health Plan came. All specific portions of that will be covered under the heading of community psychiatry. We'll be also looking up at the important developments that has been done in the field of community psychiatry in past few years. So exam edition covers all these topics. Apart from that, if someone enrolls for the exam edition, they'll be getting to attend all the topics covered in masterclass and also in boot camp. So this course has been specifically designed so that your preparation, your strategy planning, and your multiple revision can be done at a very in a very smooth manner, so that you don't have to look here and there. All these points will be compiled in a single workbook that we will be providing. These workbook will be around 60 to 70% filled by us. That is, you have to do only 20 to 30% of writing while attending the course, which is easy. We'll also be providing uh, the recordings of these courses, which will be there with you till you are done with your examination. So no hurry. Even on the last day or a day before your Viva, you can revise it. There is no, you don't have to worry that if you miss a portion, you can't go back and look back at it. You can definitely look back at it. So I'll be taking some portion of the classes and the majority of the portion, and some portion will be taken by Dr. Prachi Sharma. She is my colleague over here at AIMS, and she's also a co-founder at Psych Reads. So she'll be teaching you some portion will be covered by me. So accordingly, both of us will be covering the entire course. Then, if you look at the schedule, on 2nd of December, we'll be covering the topics of bootcamp subsection. Okay. On 2nd of December, it will take around 5 to 6 hours for us to cover, but we'll be covering it. Usually in the afternoon time, we'll be starting and we'll be covering it. Workbook will be provided prior to the scheduled lecture, that is on second, the workbook will be provided a week before that, so that you can go through the workbook, you can look at it, what are the various pictures, you can take the printout, and then you can fill accordingly while attending the course. So if someone has registered for the boot camp, they'll be able to attend a single day lecture, and that will be over for them. That is on 2nd of December. If someone gets enrolled for the master class, they will be able to attend the boot camp on 2nd of December, and on 3rd of December they get to attend the table viva special topics that we have discussed. If someone has enrolled for the exam edition, then they will be attending class on 2nd, they will be covering all the topics of the boot camp. Then they will be attending the class on 3rd, in which they'll be attending all the topics of the master class. And on the 4th, we'll be covering the topics which has been mentioned exclusively for the exam edition subsection. Okay. All the classes will be taken over Zoom, and the link will be shared before the class. Usually, it will be done on the second half of the day, preferably from 3 to 9 p.m. It might extend to 10 to 11 p.m. if required, but I'll try to keep it around 5 to 6 hours, and we'll try to cover as much point as possible from each and every heading that we have mentioned. And recordings of the lectures will be provided till your exam is over. Although I have written here till Feb 2025, but you can watch it till March also. There is no hurry. There is no, don't have to worry if you miss anything. You can revisit the lecture. You can revise as many time as possible. I don't want you to miss on anything that is there for your exams. So I wish you all the best, and I hope you will be taking the best out of the course. You'll be going through it, and I hope it will be a game changer for your upcoming examination. Thank you. Let's meet while attending the sessions.